Welcome to the Lessons from Your Hairstylist podcast, where we uncover and leverage your unique beauty and personal style. I'm your host, Sarah Cruz, a beauty industry educator and hairstylist with 30 years experience. This show is dedicated to providing you with insights and practical advice for living a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled life. Experience that special stylist-client bond right here as we dive into conversations with experts in beauty and wellness. Here, you'll gain valuable tips on personal style and self-care to empower your journey. Join me to unlock the secrets to living beautifully well while elevating your lifestyle, mind, body, and spirit. Your appointment is now, so have a seat and get ready for transformation. Well, hello and welcome to the Lessons from Your Hairstylist podcast. I'm your host and hairstylist friend, Sarah Cruz. One of the things that I wanted to bring to this podcast was a sense of being able to have confidence in who you are, in your own personal style and your unique characteristics that you have, and feel good about putting that out into the world. Sometimes I think with things like social media and comparing ourselves to others, many times, we wonder if we're sort of doing the right thing. Are we trending as far as our personal style, or are we just are we not with everyone else? Are we feeling confident about our appearance, or do we feel self-conscious? And I think so many times we see other people able to put an outfit together, or just seems like personal style comes easily to them. And then others just really struggle. And there's no real sense of style or no way that you feel confident really expressing yourself. And I've been in that place at times. And there were times where I felt like I kind of had it a little bit more together. But the style part and being able to pick out clothing that represents you well is something that I thought would be a really fun topic to have on the podcast. So I am so excited to be able to welcome on Katie Rushton. She is a Nashville personal stylist, and she's going to help us understand how we can have our own sense of personal style, still feel like we might be able to be on trend, maybe not spend a fortune, and just get our arms around this whole style thing and our own personal wardrobe and how we can make our wardrobe a little bit more simple. If that sounds good to you, stay here because we are going to dive in right now. Katie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I so appreciate you taking the time and being willing to help us all out because I know I need help.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I love doing these things.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'm excited to dive in because I think one of the things that happens is you see all these trends and you see other people who sort of seem to have it together, and maybe the trends don't totally go with the fit or style that you feel like you are at the current time. Your closet just starts to accumulate more and more pieces. You don't know how to organize it or put anything together. You're busting at the seams, and then you don't really have anything to wear. And I've had that happen to myself. And so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this on. I would love for you to share a little bit about your own personal styling, how you do it, and, your journey into getting into being a personal stylist to help others.
Yeah, of course. My journey is very interesting. This is something I always wanted to do. I've always loved the power of clothes to make people feel like the best version of themselves, even when I was young. And I wanted to do this. There wasn't a market for it when I was in college getting ready to plan for my future. So I went into finance, which seems completely opposite. And I went to work in the corporate world for way too long, probably about 8 years, I think. But during that time, I realized it was not what I could do forever. And then I was going to have to find a way back to my passion. And so I went back to school, got my second degree in fashion merchandising, took a job as a sales rep for a clothing line for a couple years. And the cards just laid out for me at the right time. I got let go in my finance career because the market was tanking. And so it was like the red carpet rolled out for me. It was, if I was ever going to do something like this, now was the time. So that has been 15 years ago. So I've been doing this for over 15 years probably at this point. And, I still love it, which I think is so important when you're looking for what you want to do in this life. I love the work. I love our clients. I love the people that we work with. It brings me joy. So that's a very abbreviated version of how I got here, but I really find joy in helping mostly women, but we actually work with a lot of men as well, just feel better in the clothes they wear, feel more confident because of the clothes they wear. So that's kind of our passion for the work we do, and that's what drives us every day, and it's so much fun. I think the best thing, I feel like I always tell clients, and it happens often, but if we're in a personal shopping appointment and I have a client come out of the dressing room and they're like, I would have never tried this on for myself, but I love it. And I'm like, that is the absolute best compliment I can ever receive.
I love that. And that's actually happened to me too. I can relate. I had a friend that worked at a store and it seems like she could pull things for me. And I'd be like, there's just no way I'd ever try that on. I would put it on and love it. What is it though about how one person has that eye? I know you went to school for fashion merchandising, and I gotta think that's an art. That's gotta be just a natural knack that somebody has. And then of course you have the educational piece, the real technical piece that goes behind that. There's a real strategy to it. There's got to be, but otherwise all of us would be able to do it. Some can do it very well. So what is it about one person that can pick something out and have that vision for what it's going to look like on another person's body or even on their own body?
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. Some people just have that knack, and it's just, just like anyone else in any other profession, some people just have it. And I mean, I do think myself and our team, we definitely have it, but there is more to it. I think with clothing, a big piece of it is understanding fit and how clothes fit people, because if the fit's not right, it's not, typically not right either. And then color as well. And I mean, I feel like with what you do, this probably goes hand in hand, but color is a big thing as well. We don't do the whole color wheel thing that a lot of people are doing. Again, that was really big in the 80s, that, matching the swatches. We don't personally do that, but we just have an eye for what colors work and what colors don't based on client skin tone. And that is huge when, you put a color on that complements someone. So I think it's a kind of a mixture of all of those things, just really having a deep understanding of color and fit, and also just that creative, your mind just works that way to be able to pull something together that, other people, it's not what they do every day. It's not what they look at every day. And so they're just like, oh, I would have never put those two together, or I didn't know I could do that. And also I think some of it too is, for a lot of our clients, is trying to wrap their heads around breaking rules, style rules per se, those things that your moms and grandmothers and aunts have taught you growing up, that you can't do this or you can't wear that. And just trying to give people the confidence to try breaking some of those rules, because, those in our mind, those kind of go out the window, because it's really about what works for you, your body, your personal style, your lifestyle. And it doesn't matter if it's against the rules. It doesn't matter if it's not trending. If it works for you, that's what's important.
It's funny you say that too, because I think that there are a lot of those outdated rules and, oh, maybe you shouldn't wear something after a certain age, or you shouldn't wear a certain color after a certain date, or there are so many different things, or skinny jeans are not in, or this is not in, and there may be those types of fits. There may be those certain types of clothing that people actually like to wear. And I think that it's encouraging to know now that that the lines are getting a little bit more blurred with that, and it's beginning to be a little different as far as the thinking on those hard and fast rules that used to be a thing. And you said that you don't necessarily do this color wheel thing anymore or the swatches. And it's funny because I've noticed that here lately, especially, it does seem to be kind of a thing like on TikTok and on, Instagram where people are doing the color, unless it's just something that's in my algorithm, which I did have somebody it was like an app, and then she said, "Oh, you're like a cool summer." Well, I just took that and just ran with that. I was like, "Well, these are the only colors." And then it was like, "You can't wear black," but that's all I do is wear black. So then it was like, so again, it's like, you can't do this, you can't do that. But it's funny you say you're not really stuck on the whole color wheel thing. How does somebody really know if something looks good on them as far as a color? Because some lady the other day she was doing these different greens, and she was like, "Which one looks the best?" And yeah, I do color for a living, and I do have an eye for that. But I looked and I was like, I mean, which one does look the best on her?
Yeah. Yeah, I think when people go to get their colors done, I think it's useful information. And for those that like that, because then they carry their swatches around and they know exactly what complements their skin tone. I think that is great for those people that need it. What I don't like about it is then a lot of people that do it get pigeonholed in, these are the only colors I can wear, which is so not true. Yes, those complement your skin tone, better than the rest, but that doesn't mean you can't wear other colors. And or like if someone's like, I can't wear yellow because it doesn't complement my skin tone. Well, you can wear yellow pants because yellow complementing your skin tone is really just about what's close to your face. And so like, that's really why I don't love that because it's just like what you said, like you're putting someone in a box again and you're making rules up for them. And then in regards to just, figuring out what's best, I think for us, I mean, it's not an exact science. Typically, it's just skin tone and eyes. I feel like usually you can tell. Once you put it up to their skin tone and look at their eyes, you can be like, this is a great color on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's okay, but we can do better kind of thing. So that's usually what we look for without getting too, pigeonholed in
Yeah.
these are
Exactly.
the only ones I could do.
Yeah. Well, so interesting because there are colors that I like. And boy, once I found out I was the cool summer, I thought, well, can't have that anymore. Can't, but you could wear, like you said, it's just maybe up here.
Yeah.
And I think too, like you said, fit has a lot to do with it as well. And right now, everything is so huge. And
I
like
know.
for those of us, like you don't have a body type that is like this pencil, it's just not gonna land,
Yeah.
And so in a world of bags for clothes, what do we do right now? Because if you like something that's fitted a little bit more, you just feel like, well, it seems like it's a little dated, So then you're like,
Yeah.
well, I can't really wear that. So let me go for the baggy clothes. And then I'm like, I don't feel good in this. I don't want all of that. So what do you do when the trend and the fit is not your vibe at the time?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny you say that. I have a client that I have had for years, and I met her a few weeks ago and dropped off some clothes for her to try. And she was like, why is it that when I am working out and I'm skinny, the clothes that are in style are big baggy clothes? And then when I am not working out, it's all the skinny jeans and all the tight clothes. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But, in those situations, I just tell people like, wear what you feel good in. Don't worry about what's in, and or if you want to worry about what's in and you want to kind of be like half and half trendy and half what you feel good in, there's ways to do it. So it just depends on, you could always still wear maybe a oversized top, but wear a more fitted bottom. So you're kind of, doing the trend, but you're still comfortable in the bottom that works for you, that fits you well. So that's kind of what we encourage our clients to do if, they're kind of on the fence about that, because the main thing is to wear what you feel good in and don't worry about what's in, and balance is the key. And so that's the best way to kind of tackle that. But I completely understand that. I was shopping for a client this week online, and I was like, it is all crop tops and 90s reinvented. And I'm like,
I mean,
I need something else here because this is not fitting what we're trying to achieve.
it's either enormous or it's micro. There's like
Yes.
no in between, you know? And
Yes.
it's like you do want to wear what's comfortable, what makes you feel good. I think that there are certain people that have a certain vibe and a style. And even though they don't wear what's trendy, they have honed in on a particular vibe or a style that people recognize and they think, oh, they're still trendy, even though they're not, or they're still stylish. I guess still stylish.
Yes.
So especially in an industry like the beauty industry, not being on trend on purpose and still seeming as though you have style, that is a tricky thing. And I think that that's where a personal stylist could come in for somebody who doesn't have the eye really on how to do that. They kind of know what they like, but somebody could maybe suggest some pieces because you could just keep buying pieces over and
Mhm.
over. And then you've just got this conglomeration of stuff and you just don't know what to do with it. And putting it together is you go in there and you can't find anything and then you want to get rid of everything, but you still don't have anything to wear. Is this a common thing that you see other people with, or is this just me?
No, it's a common thing. I'm laughing over here because I just had a conversation with a new client this morning and she was like, I have a closet full of clothes. And she was like, I sit in there and I'm like, I have nothing to wear. She goes, but I have a lot to wear. But I have so much that I can't wrap my brain around what to wear because it's just too much. It's overwhelming. It's clutter. I'm going to do a closet audit for her in July, so we'll get her under control. But yeah, I mean, it's a very common problem. You just closets get overstuffed, and so you walk in, if there's no organization or if it just feels too overwhelming, then it's immediate like shutdown. That's why I love the concept of a capsule wardrobe. I love the concept of, having your own personal style, knowing it, knowing what works for you, keeping a, more minimal closet and then just filling in here and there with trendy pieces. So that's kind of what I always try to encourage clients, especially clients that have a big closet. Like, you don't always have to keep it full. You can
Yeah.
use the space for other things because it does. The more you fill it full, the more overwhelming it gets. And the more, especially clients that don't necessarily have an eye for putting things together, because then you walk in there and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it overwhelms you before the day ever gets started. You've got
Yes.
this decision to make and you're already out of the gate. You're just defeated. And you're like, well, I just
Yeah.
can't. So,
And what we know about that, we do a lot of talks sometimes to organizations and whatnot. Like, there are actual statistics around when it affects your mood when you don't feel good in the clothes you wear, or when you're scattered in the morning because you're like trying to fill the right outfit out and nothing is working and you're leaving to head out the door for a meeting or to work. And now your morning has started off on the wrong foot. You're not as confident in yourself walking into whatever you have to face. And so can be a real struggle.
and you're talking about like a closet audit and a capsule wardrobe. And I'm fascinated with the capsule wardrobe thing here lately. And I've been trying to sort of create my own capsule wardrobe and make a list of just the pieces that I need. But how do you help people create a capsule wardrobe of the things that they need without just having to go out and buy all new stuff?
Yes. So what we have created capsule wardrobes. We haven't done one in a while, but we probably have one for every season that lives on our website. So a lot of times we'll point clients to that for direction. But what I typically tell clients to think about is like think about your personal lifestyle. Like, what do you need for work? What do you need for casual wear? What do you need for social events? And also think about like a color palette. Like, what are 2 to 3 colors that work well for you? And then go from there. And so with our capsule wardrobes, I mean, I think we typically do like 20 to 30 pieces, and they're all very season appropriate, but all of them have very neutral things on them with, 1 or 2 color palettes thrown in the mix. So it's easy to build, and what I like, and even if you don't, I mean, you can go on Pinterest and just search capsule wardrobe and find lots of them out there, but just find a shell of one that you can work off, print it off or save it on your phone or computer. And, for instance, I think ours is, it's usually like, I don't know, 5 to 8 tops. And we usually say like tank top, short sleeve tee, long sleeve tee. So a lot of times you can use those and you can go into your closet and be like, okay, I have these pieces already in here. It's not these exact ones. That doesn't matter. These are already in here. And like, okay, I'm missing, a good t-shirt dress, or I'm missing a good black blazer. And a lot of times most people have a good, 5 to 10 pieces of a capsule already in your wardrobe that you can then build off of. It's just, I think a lot of things, people just need visuals a lot of times. And so that's why I'm like, go to our website, or I'm happy to email it to you, or hop on Pinterest, whatever's easy for you, and just find you like a guide that then you can be like, okay, check, 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 check. I already have these things. Okay, now I also tell people, like, building a capsule wardrobe isn't an overnight process. So it's not like, I think some people are like, okay, I need to go buy these 15 pieces and then I'll have my wardrobe. And it's
That's
like,
what
you
I
don't have
want
to
to
do
do.
that.
That's
I mean,
what I
you
wanna
can do that,
Yeah.
but you don't have to. You can just as easily be like, okay, I'm going to add 2 to 3 pieces a month until I get where I'm at. And a lot of times too, I mean, depending on where people live, here in the South, we get all 4 seasons. And so a capsule wardrobe, part of it can be like year round, but then you're going to need like probably, I don't know, I'm guessing like 5 to 8 pieces that are like season appropriate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it can vary.
Yeah. Do fabrics, do they also, what's the thought on that? Because it used to be that only certain fabrics and it may still be, do certain fabrics only work for certain seasons? For example, I mean, it's springtime. I guess we're going into summer. Well, and I saw someone the other day that had like corduroy pants on. And I know we shouldn't put things in a box, but I thought to myself, that's a little too winter. But is that wrong?
No, that's not wrong. I mean,
Okay.
that is one, I guess, rule. It's not necessarily a rule, but that is one thing I would be like, okay, put that up until fall rolls back around.
Okay.
And it's mainly just, I mean, it's like season appropriate. Like that's got to be so hot right now.
Hot. Yes. Yeah.
And same thing with like linen in the spring and summer. Like you don't want to wear linen in the fall and winter. You'll freeze to death.
Right.
So yes, so those things are very, I feel like those are just kind of like almost common sense.
I mean, well, I thought so, but I guess not, because I thought,
right.
Well, we have corduroy pants on today. So I thought, well, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's a thing. What about leather in the warmer times? I know sometimes you see like leather shorts or like leather skirts, or, I mean, lots of leather stuff, but what about that? Is that?
I don't mind leather year round if it's done right. And I think with like the vegan leather now is pretty good in terms of, depending on the brand or the store, there are usually some really good options out there to where it doesn't look just cheap or then I don't mind that, because I even have some vegan leather shorts that I'm like, these are perfectly, I'm not going to wear them on a 90-degree day by any stretch, but on a 70 or 80-degree day in the, early summer, late spring. Yeah. Or also as we're transitioning into fall when it's still kind of warm, like with a lightweight sweater. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that, as long as it's kind of, again, like, use your judgment on, am I going to walk out in these leather pants and sweat to death? Probably not the best idea. But leather shorts, leather skirt, why not?
Well, and that's why I think you need an expert, or you need someone who has the eye, or has that, you could say, oh, it's sort of maybe like common sense, but maybe it's not. Maybe people don't. I mean, you would know if you're hot or you're cold, obviously, but I don't know that everybody really knows all of that. So I think that's where it might be good to have someone to advise you, to say, hey, maybe not these fabrics at these times of the year, and to say, like you said, you could transition maybe from one season to the next. Like there's a little window there, but maybe not take it into, here or here.
Well, and that's one thing we always tell our clients. We don't have people utilize it as much as they should, but when we're working with someone, we're like, we're here for you.
Yeah.
Like, even though I only have you right now scheduled for a closet audit, you have my cell phone, you have my email. If you run into anything, like, there are no stupid questions. You just let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. And I rarely have people take me up on that. I have a few that do. But it's like, that's what I'm here for. I love to answer those questions. And I'd much rather you feel certain about what you are putting on or the look you're putting together before you walk out of the door versus you walking out like unsure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. What do you say to women who just really have a hard time mixing and matching those, or men too, but when you have a capsule and you've kind of gotten your capsule together, how do you keep from feeling like you're wearing the same clothes all the time? I mean, how can you make something look different from just a few pieces?
accessories are huge. If you want to take on a capsule wardrobe, accessories are huge. Because at the end of the day, if you're working with 20 to 30 pieces, you're right. Like, while there are a lot of possibilities and the capsules that we used to put together, I mean, we could put together 80 looks with one capsule, 100 looks so easily. But it is, some people look at that and they're like, oh, that's kind of monotonous. That's not what I want to achieve. But accessories are huge, whether it be, this time of year, cool sunglasses can totally be a statement piece.
Mm.
Jewelry, I love jewelry. I love layering jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, rings. Those things can really take even just a t-shirt and jeans. You add a fun belt and a couple layered necklaces and your look is completely different.
Mm.
Especially because accessories, while you can invest in great accessories, you can also find really great accessories at really great prices.
Yeah. And I don't do a lot of accessories and I'm trying to get better. I almost want to make an accessory capsule because I think that I need help with actual like putting the different accessories together. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think that if I had just the basic ones, I could mix and match because I
Mm-hmm.
just for whatever reason was never an accessories person and I want to be more so. So I like that. And I have noticed where that makes a difference. And then there's hats, I guess too. I'm not a
Yeah,
hat person, but
same. I'm not a huge hat person, but I have some clients that can rock a baseball hat or, a trucker cap or even the summer hats or Western hats. Yeah, that can totally be thrown in the mix as well.
yeah, yeah. Some people can pull that off. I can't. That is
Mm-hmm.
not for me. Do you have some advice on what some just essential pieces have to be? Something everybody really needs to have.
In terms of accessories
Well, accessories,
or
yes. And
clothing.
well, clothing. Well, let me start there.
Yes. Okay. In terms of some staples, clothing wise, great fitted denim is one of my like most recommended things. And I always say great fitting and not just denim because the fit is key with denim. Layering pieces, I think everyone needs, 1 to 2 layering pieces, if not more, whether that be blazers or jackets. Those are such great pieces that can change the look of outfits. Basics, elevated basics, like really good tees, a good button down. Those are essentials. Comfortable shoes. And then probably one more that I would say would just be a really good go-to bag.
Mm,
I think those I think I said like 5, maybe more than that, but
yeah.
those are like staples. Everyone needs
Yeah.
some form of those things in your closet.
Because it just, I think, would make it so much easier to just be able to just pick those things up and go. And I've been on that train too of just trying to get those few pieces. And so far, what I've been able to do, it's been a little bit, it has been easier. So it definitely helps. So those essential pieces, having those ones that you can always, go to. And then as far as
Yes.
statement pieces, I mean, you see, like, you could have like really bold things like florals or, like colorful things. How many statement pieces should somebody have? Because clearly, if you wear it, then you're limited because it stands out. So, how many
Mm-hmm.
statement pieces should somebody have?
When we do a capsule wardrobe, I think we've put like 1 or 2 statement pieces in every capsule and that's it. Because just the reason you just said. It's not something you're going to wear often. Once you wear it once, depending on where you've worn it, you're not going to want to wear it again if you're going to be around the same people or, same places. So, those pieces just don't get worn super often. So I don't recommend having a ton of those. I would much rather have, 3 or 4 t-shirts that I loved or button downs that I loved or a mix of the two versus more than one statement piece because I know I can wear those and wear them different ways. And I could wear a blue and white striped button down today, wear it again tomorrow with a different jean, different accessories, and no one would ever know. I mean, it would be so rare that someone would be like, oh, didn't you wear that shirt yesterday? Probably they wouldn't because if I styled it differently, it's just not a statement. So that's kind of the mode I think of in terms a statement piece is great and you need those every now and then, especially for fun nights out, holidays, those kinds of things. But it's not something that I recommend stuffing your closet with.
Do you find that people have too many of those types of pieces in their closets and not enough of the essentials?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does happen.
Well, it's easy to do. I mean, because you'll see it and it's like,
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's fun.
yeah, that's fun. And then you realize, well, I wore that. And yes, if I wear that again, there it is. I mean, even like on the podcast, it's like, I pretty much stick to basics because, it's like, I don't want to be wearing like the same tops on every single episode. So yeah, so that makes sense. But when you mentioned the blue and white button down, I thought, I would think that only solids could be essentials, but it's not true. That's almost maybe more of a neutral, I guess, isn't it? It's a basic.
Yes, that's a really good thing to point out. Olive, the color olive, although it's a color, I consider it a neutral. And the same thing with like stripes. Stripes they just, for the most part, and I mean, I could get nitpicky on, what ones work and what doesn't, but stripes a lot of times work as a neutral. So this may be a little embarrassing to share. My girls that I work with know this about me, but I probably have 5 or 6 striped button downs. Most all of them are blue and white stripe. One is an olive and white stripe, but they're all a little different, but they work with everything. They work with jeans, they work with shorts. I have one that's like a matching set with a matching short. They work with white pants. You can throw them with an olive that's neutral. You can throw them with black or navy, or they just work with so much that you're right. It's a color. Stripes are just a neutral. They work that way. It's a classic print per se, and they're great layered underneath jackets and blazers of solid colors.
I just think that it's either got to be out there pattern print or it's got to be solid. And I don't think there's any in between.
No in between.
No, but when I see people, see, that's the thing too, where it's like that they look at other people and they think, now that looks good. But then they don't know they wouldn't even maybe choose a striped shirt. I wouldn't even think to choose a striped shirt. My mom bought me a striped shirt. It's a blue and white striped and it's a sleeveless like button up. And do you know, I have worn that so many times and I would have never bought it for myself. So I do have that one, but I would never have thought to buy that for myself. I would think that's not really my style. And then when I wear it, my husband's like, oh my gosh, that's cute. And I'm like, yeah, I just would never have thought of it. And I have found that I have reached for that quite a few times. And so it's weird because you do think of something that's a pattern as being more of like a statement or something you wouldn't wear as much. But the stripe, I noticed, I have worn that quite a bit, actually. Yes. What about styling for different occasions? I mean, you were mentioning you want pieces for work, you want pieces for casual, you want pieces for special events. How do you have all of those pieces and create a capsule for each one of those without just completely going broke?
Yeah, that can throw a wrench in your capsule wardrobe depending on how you want to do it. But most capsules have, a lot of times I'll put a black dress in there, and I like to use a black dress that's just a fitted like knit dress. And so I can wear it with sneakers and a denim shirt thrown over it, or I can wear it with black heels and some fun gold earrings, and I can wear it to, a cocktail attire kind of thing. So I love always having a versatile dress like that in the mix. But I also, if you have made yourself work on a capsule wardrobe and you're not, going outside of that much, I also tell people like, listen, it's okay to splurge and get you a fun piece for something coming up or rent. I love renting clothes. I think it's perfectly
Wow.
acceptable for those people that love the idea of that. There's Rent the Runway, there's Newly now. You can rent pieces for, especially during the month of December when there's all kinds of holiday parties and all the things are happening, New Year's. You can pay, I think, $100 for Newly and you get like 6 pieces. That
Wow.
is less than you can usually buy one piece for. And you've got some things you can rent some things to work with for, so that's another option that's always fun that if you don't mind, doing that, it's a great thing to have as an option versus going to buy a piece that you wear once a year, a sequin blazer or
My gosh. Yes. Like, then you start getting into the statements again and going crazy
Right.
with statements again. Yes. Yeah, that's for sure. And I've definitely done that. I got some Christmas dresses where I'm just like, well, we're never going to wear that again. And it's just like, I
Yes.
could have probably just rented something for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, and I love that. And I'm sure that, like you said, with the black dress, like that is something that you could dress up, dress down. It could be work. It could be casual with the tennis shoes
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. And I love that you said pair it with something like a denim, something like that. So for people that are concerned, obviously, now a lot of people are aware and concerned about fashion being sustainable. You have things like, these fast fashion brands where people are just talking about just like the landfills are full. I mean, how do you feel about, I mean, there's a cost
Mhm.
to buying sustainable clothing and clothing that's, manufactured in the US and all of this kind of thing. I mean, how do people navigate that between their sort of their values and also their budget?
Yeah, I mean, I love the movement towards sustainability. And, one of the most sustainable things we can do is to buy less and buy smarter, and that is honestly the capsule wardrobe fits right into that. And there are also brands that, only make clothes with sustainable fabrics or organic fabrics. And sometimes those are more expensive, but not all the time. I mean, there are some brands out there that are pretty reasonable in terms of that. So, yeah, I think, renting is sustainable. So if that's something you want to do because you're not buying anything new, you're just renting new pieces every month. And so there's different ways to go about that if that's something that people are passionate about. And we run into that from time to time where, people are really passionate about not buying fast fashion. And I think you have to, if that's something that is on your mind and something you want to do, you just have to go into that knowing like you may have to invest more on the front end to get some of those sustainable pieces and just commit to not buying anything else. And, it's kind of a personal journey. We can definitely guide people along the way and we can definitely, recommend brands and places that offer, really good options. But it's a personal journey for everyone. And I mean, at the end of the day, less is more.
That is true. I'm starting to find that. And I think I would feel mentally like so much more relieved, not so much anxiety around, all of these clothes and having to make these decisions. But for people who maybe still have some anxiety around it, maybe they're struggling with maybe not being happy with their body or how they look in clothes or, sizing isn't as inclusive as it could be and someone doesn't feel that they can actually wear things that look good or that are in style. I mean, how do you help clients that have body issues, whether it's just, something that they struggle with themselves or truly have trouble finding things that fit them well?
Yeah. That's a hard one. Honestly, it's something that we love being able to do in terms of helping people, but uh, we found sometimes people just aren't ready for the next step, which is us. And so as long as people are ready for that when they come to us, we can definitely help. But, sometimes that's a mental process that, we all have to process various things. And no matter what size people are, I mean, every time someone comes to us to work with us, there's something they don't like, whether they're a size 0 or a size 16, there's something on their body that they do not like, some part, some flab, some, something. So, what we typically do though, for the ones that struggle, and I would say plus size definitely struggle, even our petites struggle, and our tall clients, like those are three like categories that are outside the norm that struggle because they can't typically just walk into the store and buy something. It is very rare. I mean, plus size, there are a couple plus size stores, so that's helpful, but I it's rare that we can do like an actual shopping trip with a client and have a successful day of it without having to order stuff in first, because there's just not great options. And so what we typically do is we try to educate them on the front end so that they don't get disappointed and down on themselves if we, do have a shopping appointment and we don't find a lot of things, because, if you're already in that headspace of nothing works for me, I'm not feeling good about myself, and then you go into a shopping appointment and you don't find a lot of pieces, and that just it's not great. So we try to educate clients, and we typically say, hey, if we're going to do this first round and see what we can find, but heads up, it is not out of the norm to not find a ton of pieces, but we're going to do this so we can see what we find, know what we're still missing, and then we'll order in to, fill in the gaps. Because, I mean, I say plus size, I mean, petites may be harder than plus size, which is so, hard to think about. But I mean, department stores carry petite sizing. And when I say that, I mean like Dillard's and Macy's kind of thing. But like their petite section are made for like 80-year-olds. I mean, and
Right.
I don't know why that is. And so really, I mean, the only stores that we can go into and find a very small section of petites is like Ann Taylor and Loft. I mean, it is really used to, we could at Banana Republic, but both of those have shut down here locally now. There's not one in Cool Springs, there's not one in Green Hills. And so, if we have clients that are outside of what's considered, I guess, normal sizing, then it is hard to just walk. And so like they just get easily frustrated, and we understand.
Yeah.
But we try to open up their mind to like, listen, it doesn't mean there's not options for you. It's a little harder for you, but like if you're along for the ride, like we can do this. It just may take a little longer. We're going to have to source some things, order some stuff in, fill in those gaps that way. But we can do it.
Yeah, and I think the support in something like that from someone would be really helpful, because if you're trying to navigate that on your own, I would think that could get very discouraging. And actually I feel like even for more typical sizes, I mean, for me, my height, the 5'4", and then I guess I'm probably around a 4. There are still, I mean, most things aren't perfect. It would be great if we could get everything just like tailored, And so it's not perfect
Yes.
really for anybody, I would
No,
think,
it's not.
you know?
No, it's not. And that's also, I mean, that's a big thing that we try to educate clients on is like, hey, if you're open to tailoring, it's going to make a huge difference. It's an added cost, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because you're already paying for
Yeah.
clothes. But if you really want it to fit right, then a lot of times it needs it. And, we shop at Nordstrom a lot here in Nashville. And one of the reasons we do is because we get free alterations. And so a lot of times we have clients come in and we'll pass that free alteration along to them because, it's rare that someone leaves a dressing room with 5 to 10 pieces and at least one doesn't need altered, whether that be the length on jeans or, a blazer being taken in just a little or the sleeves being, brought up a little. So tailoring is huge.
Well, I know if I've ever had something really fitted to like had it done, the way it makes you feel is so different than when you just take it off the rack. I mean, there are some clothes that I've, loved and have just been right, but there have been several that I actually took the time to go and have them altered, and it's so good. Like it's just when
Hmm.
it fits you like a glove, it's so good. So I do think that too does make a big difference as well. Can you
It
think of a
does.
client success story that you've had where you really helped somebody to transform their personal style and just help them to get in a whole other world of being able to sort of take off with their style and be able to feel confident in what they wear every day?
Yeah, I mean, there are probably several. I think I work with a client. We've worked with several moms that are kind of transitioning. And so she kind of felt like she had lost her sense of self after becoming a mom, and just clothes fit differently. Body changes, had taken place, all of the things that happen. You're also just like mentally drained. But, kind of after we went through that process of shopping and doing a styling session where we put looks together for her, it was I finally feel like myself again, which,
Mm.
is an incredible compliment to us and what we do, because that's the goal, is for you to feel like yourself, feel like who are at this moment in your life. And there's so many things in life that can alter that for us as we walk this journey. And so that's an important piece of the puzzle. I feel like that happens a lot with our clients that are in transition, like kind of getting them back to where they feel like themselves, no matter whether they've just had a baby and are kind of re readjusting to life, we have just gone through menopause, dealing with body changes, or I know, right?
We're we're right
Um,
there.
even some that are just empty nesters for the first time, that haven't cared for themselves, that, like they've cared for their children for so many years. And they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to wear. I don't. And so a lot of times it's those clients that, have had that transition that, we work with. And like that one in particular, just that I finally feel like myself again. That is, that's the goal.
That's huge. And that is such a gift because I think probably at some point, most all of us have had that feeling of how we feel on the inside is not reflected by what we see in the mirror sometimes. And then it can be a little bit demoralizing. And if you can get back to feeling a little bit more like the person you feel like you are on the inside. I mean, as
Yeah.
we age, I don't think many of us feel like we're the age we are. We might look in the mirror and feel like our body doesn't reflect like how we feel or who we want to be. And so giving somebody the gift of being able to dress themselves in a way that allows them to feel more like themselves is just I think that there's not enough value probably placed on that. I think in the creative industry so many times things like what I do and what you do, a lot of times that stuff might get dismissed as maybe not as, impactful or important in the world. But I think it has to do with the way that people feel. And that is huge in your quality of life. And so when you're giving somebody quality of life, a tool that they can use to make their everyday life better, to me, that's just I think that's hugely helpful. What do you think about like any future trends? Like, do you see anything kind of coming down the road right now that we should be looking out for? Any must haves that are coming up maybe in the seasons? Or should people just sort of stay more to the classics, do you think?
My general rule of thumb is I think people should stick to their personal style, whether that be classic or something different, but also like add in trends. You can add in 1 to 2 pieces a season. And, that's one of those like invest in the good pieces, your capsule wardrobe pieces, your pieces you're going to wear every day. And then, you know what? Find a trendy piece at Zara and H&M that you don't spend a ton of money on, but you want to add it into the rotation, wear something fun and different. Like that's the way to do it if you want to do it. Trends change every single season and it's rare. I mean, barrel jeans is a good example. Barrel jeans have now been trendy, I guess, for probably a year or two now. So Like those have kind of stood a bit longer than some trends do, but you never know. And it's hard to kind of predict how long they'll last. But I mean, a lot of times it's just a season. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't recommend investing in trendy items.
Yes. I can't get with the barrel jeans, but I did find a pair of, they were Free People, just like they were like elastic and they kind of had that barrel thing. I thought I'm just going to try them on. I loved them. So you could be surprised. They were actually very cute. And so I bought two colors, of course. I just thought, I'll just try it. I'm just going to try it on just to see how ridiculous this looks. And I put those on. I was like, those look kind of cute. So I didn't do the barrel jeans, but I've done a couple of those weird, like, like pants like that. And I don't hate it. But it's kind of fun. Like I'll have those two pieces and I won't buy another pair of jeans that's shaped like that or another pair of pants that's shaped like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to sometimes discover something that you don't think is, it is fun to kind of try out the different trends.
Well, I was just going to say it's worth trying if you're interested in it because, I mean, just like barrel jeans is a great example. A lot of people are like, I can't do that. But they're also, I mean, they come in different, every brand makes them differently. So while the Free People ones that are really big in the leg are not going to work for you, the Pistola brand that are a lot more slender but still have the barrel leg may be a perfect fit.
Right.
So
variations of the same
yes.
trend, yes, could work for you. So maybe try it on for size.
Just try.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of your best online shopping tips? Great pieces that you can find without overspending. I mean, how does somebody, it's now with Amazon, it's easier to send things back, but I mean, do you have any tips for shopping online for people so we don't go crazy?
Yeah, I mean, always know the return policies, read
Yeah.
those before you shop online because I've had so many people get stuck with things from these random boutiques online so I always tell people to make sure you know the return policy, and buy from trusted retailers, not these ones that you don't know their reputation, don't know, much about. If you're ordering from a reputable site, and there are a lot of sites out there that have free shipping and free returns, if you're unsure of size, order multiple sizes. I mean, I think that's a good thing. I do that often just so, you order one, it doesn't work, just order two sizes and then you'll know and you can ship back the other ones. A lot of places that do free shipping and free returns have made returns so easy these days. And then I try to tell people don't impulse buy. Don't get caught up in that ad that's showing up on your Instagram or Facebook. Don't impulse buy. Like really, if you're online shopping, have a purpose. Same as if you're in-person shopping, like you're shopping for something specific. Impulse buying is what usually gets us in trouble.
Same as going to the grocery store. I got to have a list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm starting to learn that too, but this is solidifying that idea for me that next time I go online, I need to get out my little list, my capsule wardrobe list. What do I need? And I think going through and just doing inventory I think that's something to kind of be taken away too, of like, maybe we should all just go through and do an inventory of the stuff that we have.
Yes.
Are there any final thoughts? Like, what is one piece of advice that you would give to women who maybe have never tried personal styling? Maybe you're thinking about it, but you're hesitant. Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I mean, personal styling, it's definitely a luxury service. So I would tell people, I would always recommend making sure you're ready, honestly. That is a huge thing because when we have clients that come to us, they want to do something and they're not ready. And it's rare that the process goes smoothly. People really need to be ready. And most of the time people know if they're ready, if they're still, it's okay to be nervous. Like I have a client that I'm doing a closet out with. She's like, I'm so nervous for you to see my closet. Like that's normal. And by the way, you shouldn't be nervous. We have been in a ton of closets. We do not judge. There's no judgment here. But yeah,
how do you know if somebody's ready or they're not ready? Like, what does ready mean, do you think?
I think you're paying for something. So like if you're unsure about, spending the money on this, you're not ready. I think that seems pretty black and white, but like if you are ready, you're like, send me the invoice kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm at the
I
end of
know
my
that
rope. I
seems,
need help.
yes, it's kind of like that. In a lot of ways, I feel like a lot of the times new clients that come to us are, they're in some form of, fight or flight of some kind. And it's rare that someone looks us up, sends us a message to the contact form, and they're not ready. If they've made the step to fill out our contact form, send us a message to, have us follow up, they're usually ready. And if you talk to someone and kind of explain the process and they're like, oh, that's more than I thought, that's way more to take on, then that's okay. Like, that's
Yeah.
perfectly okay. We have, calls with all potential new clients, kind of walk through the process of what we do, walk through the pricing of what we do. And, if you're still feeling unsure, whether that be about the price or like, oh, that seems like a long process, or I'm not quite sure I'm ready to have someone into my closet. It's an intimate space. Having someone into your closet is an intimate, thing. And so there's kind of a few factors involving in that, but most of the time, people that have made that step and are willing to, make that investment, they're ready to go.
What is the process like? Is it, I mean, if you can just give us like an overview of sort of how do you even begin this?
Yeah. So, when someone comes to us, a lot of times they have an idea of what they want, so our three main services are closet audit, which is where we come in, help you clean out your closet, figure out what to keep, what to get rid of, make a list of things you may need in your closet, those staple pieces we're looking for. So it's a really easy, that's kind of an easy overview. Personal shopping, most people know what that is. We take that list that we've made together, or if they want personal shopping alone, we kind of have a conversation like, what are your needs? We also have all new clients fill out a form. So we kind of use their needs from the call plus what they filled on the form to kind of put together a shopping list for them. And then we usually go ahead of time and go ahead and pull so that when they get to wherever we're starting, we already have a dressing room set up ready to go. And then we'll go from there, kind of thing. We also do personal shopping for clients sometimes. So what that looks like is we take that list, we do the pull, we take a rack of clothing to their home so they can try on in the comfort of their own home. Some clients just do not like to be out and about, and that's fine. So, I mean, but personal shopping, most people know what that is. And then the other main thing we do is a styling session, and that's where we physically put together looks for clients. So we go in, we work in your closet, whether that be a standalone thing or whether that be we've shopped before. So we're working with both new pieces and old pieces, and we physically lay down looks on the floor, take pictures. We have an app that we use with our clients, so we'll upload all the looks to the app so that getting dressed, all they have to do is pull up the app, be like, this is what I want to wear today. And it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
that's,
sounds so fun. That sounds so fun.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Our goal is to make getting dressed easy and, to where people can put clothes on and feel good in them. So we kind of walk through all of our services and let them kind of fill out what's a good fit for them, whether that be just a closet audit or whether that be I want everything start to finish, or whether that be I feel like I got good clothes in my closet, but I don't know how to like wear them differently. Can you just come put together several looks? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just go from there.
I just think that is just so hugely helpful for people. And then, you know what you like. I mean, it's not like it's not going to, I wouldn't think you'd be losing your own personal style just because you're creating a capsule. I would think that the capsule could work for you because you're going to choose the pieces you like. You're not going to wear the ones that you don't like. So, I mean, do you feel that even though it's a capsule, people can still keep their individuality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think that too comes kind of what we talked about earlier with the accessories you pull to wear with your capsule, the shoes that you pull to wear with your capsule. I mean, those are going to be, your personal style. And also like, it's like you said, the capsule pieces, if I tell you you need two pair of jeans, you're going to pull two pair of jeans that work well for you. It doesn't mean that you just need two straight leg jeans. It means two pair of jeans that work for you, your body, what you like, kind of thing.
That's where I would be in trouble. I cannot choose just 2 pairs of jeans. I mean, how do you know which 2 pairs of jeans? Like, I mean, am I gonna have first of all, does anybody wear skinny jeans? Because I have a bunch of them still in my closet and they're comfortable. So is that even a thing? And then, I mean, do I want a flare? Do I want like just loose? I mean, do we have to have one of every style in a jean? I mean, what?
You don't have to. That's also like, how often do you wear jeans? I wear them every day.
A
So
lot.
I probably have 15 pairs of jeans. Like, I'll
Yes.
never be able to capsule like really small because I wear jeans all the time.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, I think you also have to be realistic about, how often do you wear each piece and how many you need of that piece. It's okay to have variety if it's something you wear often.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you're saying
Mhm.
like you don't have to just narrow down to an uncomfortable amount. There might
No,
be certain parts of your capsule where you have a wide variety because that's something that you wear more of.
certainly. Absolutely. I mean, listen, do we have clients that want a minimalist 30-piece capsule? Sure. But for most people, that's not realistic,
Okay.
but it's a good thing to build off of. And then, yes, if there's one or two things that you wear all the time, then it's okay to have multiples of that piece
Well,
for
that's good
sure.
to know actually that because I almost feel like it could feel like too much of a challenge if you had to limit down certain parts of your wardrobe where you felt like you didn't have the variety that you wanted.
Yes, right. Yeah,
That,
because then you're just going to get overwhelmed on the opposite spectrum. You're
yeah,
still going to be
I
overwhelmed.
can't pick. Yeah, what's gonna
Right.
go? I can't pick. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, actually, that's been super helpful, and I'm gonna wrap it up, but I want to end the episode with a little segment I like to call "Cut It or Keep It." And "Cut It or Keep It" is basically just a take on what I do as a hairstylist every day behind the chair, and that's decide whether we're gonna cut this hair or we're gonna keep it. And so we're going to ask Katie a list of some concepts, some topics here, see what she thinks. Would she cut them or keep them? So, Katie, cut it or keep it, fast fashion.
Oh gosh, this one is a hard one. I've stewed on this since you sent me this question.
Well, it's the first one right out of the
I
gate.
know, right out the gate. Okay, so I would cut Shein and like Temu. I would keep like Zara and H&M. Is
Okay.
that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. What about Amazon?
I mean, it kind of honestly falls in the middle of those two.
Yeah,
I think you can find cool pieces on Amazon, but I think you can also find complete trash on there.
it's true.
Yeah,
The shipping's really fast, though.
I know, and that's convenient. I mean,
Yeah.
there are times when we need that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think working in my industry too, when I'm gonna get something on it the very moment I wear it, and that's where I'm kind of like, oh, should I just, do I need to just buy like something cheap or, but yeah, like Zara, H&M, those are so good because I think you can find some really good pieces there,
Yeah.
but it's not, yeah. It's not trash. All right. Well, I was going to say cut it or keep it capsule wardrobe, but we've talked about that the whole time. So cut it or
Keep
keep
it.
Yes, of course. Oh, this is something we didn't talk about so much, but you see this a lot, especially lately, last few years. Cut it or keep it workout clothes outside of the gym.
Oh, cut it.
Athleisure. Cut it. I'm a personal stylist. She's like, no.
It's interesting. I don't mind it, but what I find is if people do it, they do it a lot. And then they just start to like lose themselves in those clothing. And that's, sometimes they'll find us and be like, all I wear is athleisure. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to dress anymore. And so that's probably why I would say cut it, is because you kind of fall back on that and it's easy. And then when you do need to go back to wearing clothes again or go to events, like you don't know how to dress yourself. So like that's kind of why I would say cut it.
That makes sense. That's true. You really could. Because if you just got, it's yoga pants every day and sneakers, yeah, I could see. But it could be very easy to do. So cut it or keep it, following the trends.
Cut it.
Cut it.
I mean, I think it's okay to be aware of them. I don't ever think I don't ever want people to be like, I have to wear, all of this because it's on trend. I mean, it's just what we talked about. Trends come and go so quickly that it's okay to be aware, but also like, it's not something you need to stuff your closet full of.
I get caught up in the jean trend. I have a hard time allowing myself to wear jeans that are not the right cut of the right time period. But I have jeans that I still like that I want to wear. So I don't know.
Wear them. If you feel good in them, wear them.
Okay. It's hard. I will do it. Cut it or keep it, dressing for your age.
Cut it.
So you think
I think that is another one of those boxes that people get put into. And I, especially as we age, I think, it's like, oh, I can't wear that. I can't wear shorts anymore. I'm too old. Oh, baloney. If you still feel good in shorts and your legs look good, wear those bad boys. Like, I think that is, it feels like a thing that is used to knock women's confidence down. And so I really don't like the dressing for your age thing, because I just wear what you want to wear. If you feel good in it and you feel confident in it, wear it. I don't care how old you are.
Yeah. I wish that was a little bit more the school of thought these days, because again, you have people who are sitting behind their screens commenting on people online and the things that ageism is huge right now. It's like you're just not allowed to be over 25. And then, you have a lot of comments, and you just see other people suffering the wrath of putting themselves out there. And then you think, oh, and then you're like questioning everything. And so I do wish that that philosophy would go away and we'd start to move away from that way of thinking. So I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Cut it. And last but not least, and I just stuck this in at the end because I'm sort of stuck on it, but cut it or keep it, skinny jeans.
Oh gosh. I mean, from a personal stylist standpoint,
Can they
cut it
okay
in terms of, they're not in right now. They're supposedly coming back in, but also that's a hard one, because I do have clients that it's like, that's the best style that works for their body. And I'm not going to tell them not to wear them, because if that's what works best for their body, wear them. It doesn't mean just because they're not on trend doesn't mean they look bad on them.
But they look like they're not on trend.
No, they're not on trend right now.
No, I know, but I said, but then the person they're not on trend.
Right. But do you care? Some people do, and that's okay. Like, if you care about that, don't wear them right now.
Right. What about with high boots? Could you wear them with, is it okay with high boots right now, or no? No, don't do it.
That.
Okay.
No, if you're going to wear them, if I'm going to wear or put clients in skinny jeans, I would recommend like an ankle length. So right above your ankle bone.
Yes. Okay.
With like a fun sandal, a cute flat.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
Okay, perfect.
I know that's a hard one. I feel like we get that question all the time.
I've not been doing it because I know it's not good, but I like them. So
I know. I have a really good friend of mine who's petite, and like she sends me a message like, I don't know, once every few months, and she was like, when can I wear them again? They are really what looks best on my body. And I'm like, just wear them.
I know. Like, when are they coming back? When are they coming back? I liked them when I was in high school too. I was like, we've never gotten over skinny jeans in like 45 years. So anyway, but that was my last one. Katie, thank you so much for being on. This was so much fun. It's one I've wanted to do for a while, and it has really helped put some things in perspective for me. And now I know I've got some homework to do. I'm going to go do a closet audit.
Go for it. Ask yourself, do you love it? If you don't love it, it shouldn't be in there. How long has it been since you've worn it?
Ooh.
If you haven't worn it in 6 months to a year, needs to go. And does it fit? If it doesn't fit, needs to go.
Okay.
There's you 3 questions to get you started.
I love that. And that's the best soundbite right there. I love that. Where can people find you and access your services?
Yeah, people can find us online at effortlessstyle.com. Only 2 S's in there. That can be confusing, but we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. Yeah, and our contact info, or you can send us a note through our website. We can be reached easily that way.
Okay. Sounds good. I love this. This has been so much fun. Effortless Style. We will put that information in the show notes so that you can access that, and you can find Katie there. But Katie, thank you again for being on. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Lessons from Your Hairstylist. I hope you found inspiration and actionable insights to embrace your unique beauty and elevate your life. Remember, it's all about taking small steps towards a happier, healthier you. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might benefit from it. Together, let's continue unlocking the secrets to living beautifully fulfilled. Until our next appointment, keep your thoughts on your visions, your self-talk kind, and remember to keep your heart open so you don't miss any opportunities waiting for you out there. I'll see you on the next one.